Guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Andrea, your relationship coach, and today we've got someone very special. She's actually an old client of mine, Zonya. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And she's been kind enough to come in today to actually talk about her experiences being coached by me and what the results were of the coaching. So she's just here really to share her story. So I really appreciate you coming in. Thank you again.
You're very welcome.
So to begin with, could you just give us a brief look at what your relationships were like before you came to do any coaching with me? Just give us like an overall view.
Well, about 5 years before I came to see you,
Yeah.
in that period leading up to seeing you, there was nobody in my life. There was no relationships.
Just nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely no one.
Absolutely nobody at
Not
all.
the occasional date.
No. I think there was one snog.
Well, okay, one kiss.
One kiss, yeah.
On a random drunken night.
Yes,
I assume
yes,
that was
yes,
all right.
yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So,
Dry patch.
yes.
Very clear dry patch.
Indeed, indeed.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So and before then,
Yeah.
there were a few gentlemen in my life. I use the term loosely. There were a few
Yes,
guys who were
right.
alive. There was a long-term boyfriend. We were together for a 5-6 years.
Okay.
Yeah. And that didn't work out.
Because
Because he preferred to have sex with another person, had an affair with somebody else.
right.
Yes,
Okay.
and so that clearly wasn't going to work from then onwards, and he went on to marry that other person.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I left the country to work overseas.
Okay. So how? Okay, let's just focus on that just a little bit. So, how did that affect you? I mean, so you were together for how long?
6 years.
6 years,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, were you living together?
Yeah, we lived together for about a year and a half.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what was happening before you were living together? Like,
We'd met each other at university, so I'd moved from my work. He was still at university,
Yeah.
finishing off like a higher master's degree,
Yeah.
and then eventually we moved in together. He didn't
Right,
move into
okay.
my house, I didn't move into his. We moved into some place new together.
so it was a long distance
It
relationship.
was long distance for the first few years, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
And when we
yeah.
say how long distance, what in different parts of the?
Different parts of the country.
Okay.
Yeah, about 150 miles apart.
Okay. And
Yeah.
so, how often were you seeing each other?
Once every few weeks, maybe once every 3 weeks, once every 4 weeks.
And what
Yeah.
was it? What was? I'm just trying to establish kind of what
Yeah.
type of relationship it was. So, and how frequently were you communicating?
Every day.
Every day.
Every
Okay,
day.
brilliant. So
Yeah.
that was clear then.
Yes.
You two were, and you had the talk that you two were a couple. You were an item.
Yeah. He asked me. He was
Right.
not like it is. And this is a while ago. Not like it is in times now,
Yeah.
where people don't have that talk and people don't say anything.
Right, it's all a bit vague.
Yeah, it was very clear from the
Yeah.
beginning. Yeah, when I moved away
Yeah.
to go to work, it was clear he wanted me to be his girlfriend,
Right. Okay.
and I was his, and I wanted to be my boyfriend, and that was
Okay.
very clear. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So then you moved in together. He finished his studies. Then you moved in together for a year and a half.
Yeah.
So how did you find out about the affair?
It was a case of he said to me he didn't feel the same about me anymore,
Right.
and he didn't want to be with me anymore.
Okay.
And I asked, is there somebody else?
Yeah.
And he lied and said no, there wasn't.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I post came through the door for a receipt or a trip that he'd been on whilst I'd been on a trip away,
Right.
and there was a second person's name on it, and it wasn't my name.
On the receipt, on the credit card
It
bill.
was either the credit card bill or the receipt from the travel company for the hotel booking.
Oh, right. I
Yes.
see.
Yes. So, and it wasn't my name because I know I wasn't in the country at the time. I knew he'd been away.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when I'd said, "Oh, who'd you go with?" he mentioned a male friend. But he also mentioned that they had separate rooms, and I found it unusual that male friends would have separate. You just share the room; it's cheaper.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I questioned that.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, we just had our own rooms."
Right. Okay.
Yeah, because he had a lady in his room.
Right. Okay. So
So then
you discovered the letter.
yeah, and so when I confronted him about it, he couldn't say anything. Couldn't say anything at all. This is on the telephone by now, because obviously he'd finished everything. He'd gone.
Oh right, so he'd moved out
he'd
the flat.
moved. And when I'd found the mail that had come, I confronted him,
Yeah.
and he didn't say anything. He couldn't say no. He couldn't say yes. It was, just that's how it is.
Wow. So what, in that moment, what was that like?
I just thought, you're nasty. You're a liar.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I thought you have no balls.
Gosh. Right.
You have no balls. You've already said you don't want to be with him anymore. Your feelings have changed. It's because you'd lied. When I'd asked, is there somebody else? He'd said no. If he'd have said, well, yes, there is. Then it'd be like, what can I do about that? You can't do anything, can you? But the fact is, he said no. So when I confronted him on that, he just didn't say anything. The silence.
So that was, I assume, more painful.
Yeah. All I could think of when I look back now is a bit. It's a bit difficult for me to know exactly how I was feeling, because the time's gone on so long. But what I do remember is just thinking, you're just a liar, disappointing, and more than anything, I thought, you couldn't even just dump me and say, I found someone else, it's over. You had to lie all the way to the end.
Right.
And that to me is really sad, and that's made me feel sad that you lied all the way to the end. 1 week you're in my bed, and then the next week you're lying like a complete stranger.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I thought, disappointment.
Yeah.
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 Like you can't trust me to say, there's someone else, I'm sorry, but that's that.
So you wanted someone who's always going to be, he was upfront saying he feels differently. It was just, I mean, obviously he must have felt differently.
Over must have for time.
Differently.
Yeah, for time, but didn't say anything. Yeah, that I understand.
Yeah.
But what I don't like is just lied.
Okay.
Yeah, you had nothing to lose. It was over. You pack your bags. Just say, yeah, there was someone else.
Yeah. There was someone else. So, what do you think? And I know you've been through my program, so you see things differently. But what did you think went wrong then? And what type of person do you think you were in that relationship?
I think I was unsupportive of what he was looking for.
Okay, could you say?
Yeah, well, he was studying. He was finishing his studies.
Yeah.
And he had the opportunity to continue one more year. And I didn't think it was worth it. In my opinion, I thought it was too. I thought he'd already told me what he wanted to do in his life. So granted, you can change, but I know that now.
Change their mind.
At the time, I was all like, "Well, no, you told me you wanted to do this. You wanted to be this, be that," and I was supportive of that. Well, I was supportive because I agreed with it. Granted, if I didn't agree with it, maybe I wouldn't be supportive.
What you agreed with?
What he originally
his career
wanted.
Choice.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was a good thing. I saw passion in the way he'd talk about it. I thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
And then when he changed, he did the extra year, and I was upset because I didn't want him to be away from me. But hey, he did it, and it was worthwhile. Did very well at it. So then when he got his degree and his masters, and he was moved down to live together. We got a new place together, and then he was looking for work, and he managed to find some temporary work, which was good. It was fine, but then he was struggling to find work in his career, in his field, yeah. And he decided to go into teaching.
Okay,
there's nothing wrong with teaching.
Right.
It's just I found he was doing something because he couldn't find, rather than ride it out and try and strive to do what this thing you wanted. He wanted to be a research doctor in his field, which he would have been amazing at. Who knows? Maybe he's done it now. I don't know. But to me, doing the teaching was a cop out.
Okay.
Because I thought you are so much better than doing the teaching.
So was that a bone of contention?
That was. I said, I can't support you on that.
You told him
Yes,
that?
I said the words, I can't support you on that.
Right.
He said, but I want to do that, and this is it's something that's come up, and it's easy for me to do because I don't know if I'll find anything else. I could do it in the meantime. Teaching isn't a meantime job. Teaching is a career.
Right.
I believe teaching is a career. I know people do teach and then stop teaching, but it's a career path. Right. And last time I knew, he was still teaching.
Okay.
Yeah. So I said, you will find it hard to find your doctorates in the other area whilst you're teaching. It'd be very, very difficult. So I was adding myself, well, that's what he's chosen to do. I'll have to support him. So I did. I helped him with his work.
So it sounds very begrudging.
Well, I'd said what I'd said, and then at the same time, however, a few weeks later or a month later, I said, well, during my work hours, because I'd work out of hours, I can help you with this stuff. And I was never resentful about doing it. I thought, well, he's chosen it. I'm going to support him as he's chosen it.
But your heart, it doesn't sound.
My heart wasn't in it,
yeah.
But I did it, and I never threw it back in his face or anything of the sort. I just said, give me your documents, give me your paperwork. Whilst I'm working throughout the night in between, I can write these things up for you. It was just timetables, the kind of clerical stuff that it's nice to have a PA for. So I did that.
So you still
I did that. I did that. Well, I supported because I wanted him to succeed.
Okay, so so it sounds like your thing was, I mean, I don't know, you want a high achiever? Not
necessarily a high achiever. If you have something that you like and you love it, go for it.
Okay, and so when you saw he wasn't doing that, you didn't like it.
It's just since I've known him, he wanted to do this thing.
Yeah. So did that change your opinion of him then in some way?
I thought it was a settler.
A settler. And how did that make you feel?
I was a bit disappointing.
Disappointing. Yeah. So you're with someone who I assume you loved.
Yes, yeah.
But you also felt disappointed.
Yeah.
And okay. So that relation clearly came to an end. Did you, sometimes what happens is you end up hooking up again afterwards. Did anything?
Yeah, that happened. Yeah,
okay,
classically, yeah, that happened.
So in spite
I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Yeah.
So he was with the woman.
He was with this. Well, there was an occasion when he was left me for this woman, and we were sorting out. We had to meet up with bank details, all that kind of stuff. I couldn't do it on the phone; it wasn't allowed me to do it, so I needed to get things back and stuff. And so we met up. And
what was that like? Seeing him again?
That was very close to the time.
How? Right.
A few weeks.
Okay.
So that was a bit funny, but he was acting all a bit. I don't know. He was acting like he'd just met me, like a new person, type thing, which is a bit weird. But anyway.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, but then the next day I thought that was just snogs, just kisses.
So you got intimate as in kissing?
Yeah.
In a public place?
Yes, in a public place. Yeah. Right. So and then the next day I thought, oh, that was a very bad mistake. No, thank you.
Right.
So that was done.
Yeah.
And then I don't know how long later. I think it was the same year. Friends of ours were getting married. I think it was the same year. It must have been the same year. We're getting married, and they were getting married abroad. So I'd asked, "Are you going to attend?" And he said yes, he was going to attend. So that made my decision. I won't be attending.
So you still had feelings for him?
Yeah, absolutely. It was 5 months later or something like that, yeah.
What was it like for you afterwards, in that time period? I
immersed myself in other activities.
Okay, yeah. And how were you feeling?
I cut off. I cut off. I just basically was like, right, I'm just going to concentrate on other activities, which is what I did. And I focused on my goal which had always been a goal anyway, to work overseas, and nothing was going to stop me from doing that. Did you two actually plan to get married and have children? No children. Never really children. We talked about marriage. Yeah. And he said, yeah, one day I'll marry you. This was when we first started going out. Okay, so you never got engaged? No. Nothing like that? No. We talked about it, and I'd said to him, this is what I want in a wedding. And he said, yeah, and he laughed and said, oh yeah, he'd like that too, or he wouldn't be doing any of that, that kind of thing. But there was nothing ever serious. There was no proposal with a ring. Yeah. You never brought it up? No, because at the time we were still aiming for the goals that I was looking for, but even before marriage. What, career goals? Career goals, right, before marriage. Because we weren't 30 or anything, we were still in the 20s, still in the early days, as one would say, in your life, but you never know when that is, so, yeah. So, what I noticed is at these times when something quite significant happens, we usually make a decision in our minds, like, I don't know, never again, I'll only ever go for brunettes, not blondes. I don't know. Do you know if you made a decision at that time? Because of what I'm just trying to let people understand is
the state of mind that you were in way before you came to see me. So how did it affect you? All that happened, how did it affect you? Other than emotionally, you must have made some decision about relationships, about men. What was that?
I made the decision that no man was going to stop me achieve my goal.
Right.
Him having one extra year at uni delayed all these things.
So you put off your
the travelling, everything would have been delayed. It was delayed because the idea would be, I'll be down here, we go together, that type of thing. I'd asked him, and that's when he said to me, I'll go anywhere in the world where you go. So I thought, oh, that's a really nice thing. That's a really nice thing. And then a year later, he said he was doing teaching. So this is the thing. So my head was, no man or nobody will stop me achieving my goals.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that was it. Regardless if it was back in my life or not, I would have left him behind to go and do my thing. Yeah, so that was what my focus was.
Okay.
I'd say for a year and a half, focused on doing what I had to do.
Okay, so there was no other men in your life in that period?
No, there was no other men.
Nothing at all. You weren't interested?
No.
Not remotely?
No.
Okay.
Couldn't be. The focus was too precise.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then after that year and a half, when did you meet your next?
I was overseas. I was working overseas, and I didn't realise I was pursued by two gentlemen. I didn't realise at all.
What do you mean you didn't realise?
I didn't realise they were interested in me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So?
But I just assumed it was a tour guide wanting to take us on tours, which he said they were.
Yeah.
And he was inviting, come back to my family home, we can have dinner. I just thought, different cultures, obviously.
Yeah.
I thought, well, I didn't know this until over a decade later.
Right, so
when I was told by the man himself that I was interested in you, and I was asking your language teacher about you, and he was telling me, come pursue, but he says no, I think she's into somebody else, and I wasn't. I just happened to have male friends. And so basically when I went abroad, that was when a whole new style of life came about.
Right, and a completely different culture.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
But if I've understood this right, you kind of didn't know when a guy was attracted to you. You just couldn't see the signs.
No. I mean, there was a guy in our group that I liked. I thought he was great. I thought he was really handsome, sexy, and cool. Had an accent because he's from the Americas, so that he was lovely. But just a friend.
Right. Yeah.
So maybe that was safe because he's just a friend. But with anyone else, I had no idea. Didn't even click. I just thought, maybe just chit-chatting, dancing, joking. Yeah, not at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know something developed with someone whilst you were living abroad.
Yes.
So how did that happen then? Well, is that a miracle?
Again, we hung out and he pursued and pursued and pursued.
So literally you've got to be smashed over the head and dragged back for you to get the message.
Yeah. And then I thought, well, I'm not into anything serious because I'm living in abroad in a different continent. I would just enjoy my time with this young man. And I did. I had good times with this young man. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Nothing serious.
That's what I thought, yeah.
That's what you thought.
Yeah.
So then what changed?
I've always been sensible. Yeah. Always been sensible. They wanted to
practical, sensible. Okay.
Don't take any chances.
No chances, no risks.
No. So when I returned home, I thought, that's it, done. Thank you. Had a lovely time. Bye. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then I thought, no, maybe take a risk, maybe take a chance.
Yeah.
You always do the right thing. Why can't you just try? If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
So he must have wanted something more then.
Oh gosh, yes, yeah, definitely.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
What more? What?
Yeah, me to live with him in his country. Yeah.
Get married.
Oh, I have a family and everything. And it's like, okay, so maybe I could have this. You see other people having it.
So why not
I thought, why not me? I would not have done, but I just thought, why not?